Basketball fans, welcome into Raptors Today. Akil Augustine, Sherm Hamilton, Jevohn Shepherd, and we're talking Raptors versus Knicks, and the conversation in that game starts with OG Anunoby, who since joining the New York Knicks has made NBA history the highest plus-minus, Sherm's favorite stat, in a 10-game period since joining a team, breaking Pau Gasol's 151. OG 170 in the plus category since joining this Knicks group. But let's talk about how the Knicks have changed since adding OG, Sherm.
Well, I'm so impressed with that plus-minus stat. It's an amazing stat.
So facetious.
Well, I think, OG was here. He wanted more minutes, more shots. He wanted all of that. And you can't blame him. I mean, he put the work in, and he was third, sometimes fourth in the pecking order. And he's getting that opportunity. Now, he's still third, at least in the pecking order in New York, but Tibbs is a defensive guy. And if you're going to play defense, you're going to be on the floor a lot. And you're going to get opportunities, and that's what's happening for him. So I'm happy for him. It's not a surprise that he's going to help the New York Knicks because from a defensive perspective, you can just put OG on the best player, whatever position it is, and say individually he's going to be responsible there. But I'm happy for him because – you know, sometimes a new environment presents a new energy and a different opportunity, and OG's taking advantage of it. And it's one of the rare times, and we talk about it many times, where a trade occurs and both teams benefit from the trade almost equally.
Yeah.
And that's impressive, but I'm happy for OG. He's doing a great job in the Knicks uniform.
Yeah, I think his skill set definitely complements, Tibbs' style, as well as the two hubs that he's playing with in Brunson and Randle. And I know he's gonna be third in the pecking order in terms of, play calls, play sets, but on every possession he's gonna be second, because if Randle has the basketball and he gets himself in a tight spot, he's kicking it out to OG on the perimeter. If Brunson has the basketball in a pick and roll situation, he can't get into the paint, he's kicking it out to OG, for a three. So he's going to get the touches that he may not necessarily have gotten here. And then the usage, he's going to be playing those minutes because of the brand of basketball he plays defensively. But what he brings is that toughness, that grit. And there's not going to be...
That's not what Patrick Beverly thinks.
Well, he's got that dog.
I'm going to tell you, so Patrick Beverly is crazy. Patrick Beverly talks. The amount of chatter coming from him for a guy that doesn't get guarded in any of these games.
You think he's putting up 20 and 10?
100%.
He's a nutcase, if you ask me. But no, I think for OG, it's a great situation, and there's not as much responsibility on him offensively to put the ball on the floor, to slash the basket, to do to post up and so forth, where he can get the touches in comfortable situations because you have two prolific scorers that you're playing with. So it's going to bode well for him, the rest of the organization as well.
All right, the Knicks are 8-2. How do the Raps slow down this group, Shep? That offense looking good. You just mentioned it, right? The three-man monster.
Well, shooting the basketball helps. And obviously, defense is going to be a big thing, especially, on the ball, point of attack, really getting the ball out of Brunson's hand and not allowing him to get comfortable. I think you can bank on Randle. As much as he puts up big numbers, he's going to put up some erratic shots, right? So rebounding the basketball is going to be extremely important. Get out running, and it's just bottling up and channeling that energy that we see and that enthusiasm, that emotion that you played with against Miami, replicating that in the Garden.
In a league where defense isn't emphasized, I think against a team like the Knicks, if you can create turnovers and use what we've talked about, athleticism, their youth, their quickness, the ability to score in the open court, I think they can change the fortunes. Look, the Knicks operate very well in the half court. They've got Brunson, who can pick and roll you to death and get what he wants. Yep. Randle, who can attack in the half court. But they don't want to change ends of the floor like the Raptors want to. And I think the Raptors are at their best when they're rebounding, pushing it, or turning teams over and pushing the ball. That's when everything opens up for this team, and you see the half-court decision-making doesn't have to be as consistent because when you're in transition, you're just firing it ahead and guys are finishing at the hoop.
I believe Raptors get the second most fast break points right behind Indiana, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We want to send a shout-out to the fourth member of our crew, Metrolinx, currently building an entire subway system underneath us.
They don't care about us, man.
They do not. Do remember, Saturday night, 7:30, live from New York, it's Raptors brand basketball, Raptors versus Knicks. You can catch it on TSN, the radio call on Sportsnet 5 Fan 590. That does it for us. That was my phone. I guess I'm getting fined. We'll see you guys next time.